I'm actually going to kick off with Graeme, if you don't mind. Graeme, a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think this in Jersey from again, the stories you see, but you're Jersey's biggest tech company. I hope you'll agree with that, in terms that you are a tech company. But actually, a huge proportion of your business is offshore. Now, obviously, you use Jersey as a base, but how did you build, and how are you building that tech business offshore?
Well, I think it's based on two things. I think the first thing is to have strong foundations in Jersey. We are a Jersey business, and about a third of our business is now in Jersey. It's worth saying that shrunk over the last 5 or 7 years, but it's because we've grown overseas. But the first thing is to sort of secure the home base. That's why we've spent so much money, whether it's investing in the fibre rollout and the new billing systems. We start from a good place. We've actually also recruited and grown an awful lot of talent here in Jersey. And we have, for the last 7 years, we've been recruiting apprentices, we do bursary students, we've been recruiting Jersey students coming back from university. And what we see is that the talent we have on Jersey, we're actually now exporting. So, for example, when we won the contract in the States with Kraft, a lot of the work there was initially done by people that we were sticking on a plane from Jersey over to Chicago. As time has gone on, we've recruited some folks in the States as well. So I think that, how have we done it? We've done it by making sure that we do a good job at home, securing the home base, making some money here, investing in people here, and then that's been the springboard for the overseas operation. It's worth also saying that we've made 2 or 3 acquisitions along the way, quite small ones, that have given us operations, the legal structures, and some customer bases around the world to operate into.
Thanks, Graeme. Stephen, so you've established in KYC 360 a fintech business. Surely that's a doddle in Jersey. We're big in finance. We know everything about the financial services sector. We've got loads of people working in it. Has that been your experience?
I have to say, the experience has been positive. And that hasn't been because of the environment. I think it's been positive because we came from a place in establishing KYC 360 of credibility as subject matter experts as a consequence of where Jersey had positioned itself on the issue of regulation of financial services. And KYC 360 is a business which is all about providing reg tech solutions to the financial services industry that help in the governance, risk and compliance space. And Jersey is very credible when it comes to that, not just in the offshore world, but internationally. So it's been, I think, positive in that sense. I mean, I've established lots of businesses in Jersey over the course of the last 20 years, and my attitude has always been, quite Reagan-esque. The most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. And so I've never asked for any assistance in establishing any of those businesses largely probably because of perception. I've just not wanted to start wading through treacle. But I've got to be honest with you, I think Digital Jersey has, for the first time, really begun to challenge my perception of that. Because whilst I was sceptical about interacting with Digital Jersey because of that attitude, and I think I was sceptical. But
you did mention it.
Yes, but I have to say the experience has been incredibly positive. And you and your staff are to be congratulated on that, because it's really been extremely impressive. In terms of what we could do better, I think, and this is not particularly informed commentary because I just haven't been, I'm not entirely sure what Digital Jersey does in its entirety. But my impression is that there's a lot of emphasis on sort of developing the coding skills, and clearly that's really, really vital. But when I look at the skills that are necessary to run our business successfully, I think that there's a real dearth of talent on Ireland around such issues as experience design, digital marketing, And even things that are, I guess, slightly more humanistic, like, how do you make a sale? One of our directors is a chap called Stephen Chandler, who's the senior partner of Notion Capital, which is Britain's biggest fintech fund. And they ran at Notion a brilliant day's training for many of the businesses that they'd invested in on how to navigate the bureaucracy of monolithic financial institutions to actually make the sale. And you can have the best tech, but I've learned in business that it doesn't matter how good a product is, nothing sells itself. So we need more of those sorts of skills, because we've had to go off island for experience design, digital marketing. It's very difficult to find good people, in our experience, in Jersey that can help with that. And I think that maybe more could be done there. And I think also that, brand is important. We talk about brand in the context of businesses and the whole, why and the how and the what, and we've all seen the TED Talks and on these these absolutely critical marketing lessons. And I think Jersey, in the digital business sense, needs to think about the why in order to define its proposition a lot more clearly, because if it doesn't do that, the success that it will have, I think, there's a danger that it won't be sustainable. You've got to sort of define that sort of Shoreditch brand, that something it's not tangible, but people say, yeah, it's quality. We've done that very well in the financial services industry. There's an opportunity to do that in the digital space, but I think Jersey may need some help in that respect.
Can I thanks for that. It was interesting to bring Jason in. So I joked about it, but actually, Jason, you are one of the people who has a foot in both camps. You have one of the most establishment day jobs going, if you don't mind me saying so, but you're on Slack all the time, probably a bit too much to be healthy, engaging with the tech staff. So you've been pushing the digital agenda in Jersey for a long time. You know what it's like in the financial services sector. What have you seen improve? What do you think we still need to do to help businesses grow here? To Stephen's point, to get brand Jersey out there, not just for the tourists and high net worth and financial services businesses, but for digital businesses.
So your easy cue into me was a financial monolith, so thank you for not using that one. So so there's two ways to approach this. You either sit back and watch people like the gentleman around me place bets and hope that some of those bets come off, or which is a strategy, or you do as many have done before, which is that you look at some of the more successful places around the world and as far as you can replicate what they have there. And I think the important thing to do there, so everyone talks about places like Israel and Silicon Valley and so on and so forth as models to follow, is you don't cherry pick the easy bits and kind of sweep under the carpet the more difficult bits and hope that somehow Jersey can do better. So the important thing is to learn from those places, to join in to the extent you can to the systems that are already there. But I very much take Stephen's point there, which is we need to look at what we do have really already, and in my view, build from there. So the piece of work that we did for you going on a year and a half ago now started from that base of, well, what can we actually do here? What do we have? What are the adjacencies to those businesses, whether or not it's reg tech or IoT or whatever it is, and build from a firm foundation, but not reinventing the wheel, doing it using the ways that we know work elsewhere in the world.
Okay, thank you. So, turning to you, Ben, these three have been around for donkey's years, as you've heard. You've been here a few months. You've come here to set up a business because your other half had moved over in a more traditional profession. How have you found Jersey, sort of good and bad, in terms of coming into Jersey and establishing a new tech startup?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, I'd say that the working environment at the hub is great. I have a desk there, and that's been great kind of from a social perspective. I guess I'd like to see more people like me, kind of Generation Y kind of entrepreneurs in there with other exciting businesses. I think the main barriers to that are kind of regulatory and legal. And I think if there were kind of 3 quick wins that I would look at to kind of make sure there's a better chance of more people doing that, I would have a simple kind of startup visa application to set up a business, which doesn't exist at the moment. I would get rid of the kind of entrepreneurs poll tax that Social Security levy on, kind of new entrepreneurs. And thirdly, I would give, particularly to people from off the island looking to build a longer-term business, license permissions for kind of 5-10 years or more. They would be the 3 things that I would look at if you really want to grow that space.
We have got those on the list, Lloyd, haven't we? Just to check. Yes, good.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
We didn't prepare those.
Yeah.
But
things.
as you say, there are some. It has the potential to be a great place to set up a business. You came here quality of life and decide you want to settle down. So the potential is there. There are established businesses. I mean, for your, power energy advisory services, there are companies you can work with, JC here. So it has the potential there. We just need to make it a bit easier.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They're quick wins, as I see them, and they're kind of, from me, from a policy kind of making perspective, as someone who studied economics, they're kind of obvious. But again,
But I mean, one of the things that I found good is, there's been a lot of talk recently about population increase and things like that. You were new to the island, wanted to set up a business, wanted to get a license. It wasn't particularly smooth, but actually I was pleased that we're getting the message through. With the population office, hey, I realise Ben is exactly the sort of individual, exactly the sort of business we want here. So I think we are getting there, but it still probably takes a bit longer than it should do. It's a bit more complicated. We need to streamline it.